Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Bhadram Karnebhiः Shrunuyama Devaः Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraः Sthirairangai Stushtuvaagum Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti nः Pusha Vishwavedaः Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi. Swasti no bruhaspatir dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. 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 First three mantras. Mundaka. Putraya praha atharvaniyam pravadeta brahma atharvatam purovachangire brahma vidyam sabharadvajaya satyavahaya praha Bharadvajo angirase paravaram Shaunako havai mahashalah angirasam vidivadupasannah papracha kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavatiti. We had seen the second mantra in the last session where the Guru Parampara is being elaborated, described. The teaching was first given by Brahmaji to his son Atharva, who gave it in turn to Rishi Angi. Angi Rishi gave it to Satyavaha, who was born in Bharadwaja Gotra. So his name becomes Bharadwaja Satyavaha. And Satyavaha gave it to Angira Rishi, who might be his son or his student. So that Guru Parampara is being elaborated over here, starting from Brahmaji. The indicator of Brahma Vidya in this particular mantra is Paravaram. In the previous mantra, the first mantra, it was Sarva Vidya Pratishtham. And in the second mantra, it is Para and Avara. Brahma Vidya is Paravaram. Means from previous teachers, this knowledge was gained by later students. From previous acharyas, previous teachers in this lineage, later disciples who came, they got this knowledge. One beauty of Vedantic teaching is nothing is hidden from the student. Whenever a teacher teaches something, he will teach everything that he knows. That's why we say Gurudev has one quote, right? What is that? For children it is. Children are not vessels to be filled, but lamps to be lit. Lighting a lamp, one of the uniqueness is the first lamp which has lit the second one doesn't lose anything by lighting it. That lamp will light in such a way, whatever brightness was there in the first one, second one will also be having all the brightness. Meaning whatever knowledge was there in the previous acharyas, they continue to give it to the later ones, not holding back anything. The consequence of this is, if somebody is sincere, somebody is hardworking, and they are willing to walk the path shown by all the acharyas, they can get the same insight and conviction like what previous people got. Means whatever insight Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji got, if we follow his words sincerely, he says that sadhaka will be led to the same place. Because there is nothing he has hidden, nothing that he has kept unknown from later students who are going to read his work. That is the first part about Paravaram, means from previous teachers, the later ones learned, and they continued this teaching. The second meaning was that knowledge which is comprehensive, which talks about para also, talks about apara also. Para refers to macrocosm, and apara refers to avara refers to microcosm. Not apara, avara. Para refers to macrocosm, avara refers to microcosm. Para refers to tatpada vichara. Macrocosm means thinking about how did this creation come about? What is Hiranyagarbha? What is the nature of Ishvara? What is nature of Bhagavan? In and through that, devotion will be introduced in Vedanta when we do Tatpada Vichara. In Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter until 12th chapter is Tatpada Vichara. So what is the culmination of Tatpada Vichara? 12th chapter, which is Bhakti Yoga. And how do you see Tatpada? As Vibhuti in this whole universe and as Vishwarupa in this whole universe. So whenever we do Tatpada Vichara, it's not a dry inquiry or analysis that we are just looking at elements, which element came from what. That is one part, the technical part. But the main understanding in Tatpada is, my Bhagwan is appearing as his creation. Hiranyagarbha, God's mind, is total mind. And his Sharira is this universe. So if I love God, I'll have to see oneness with this universe. Because nothing is different from Bhagavan. Nothing I can exclude from my vision. And if I say I love Bhagavan, I will have to accept his will and whatever his mind wants. That is tuning with total mind. See, all these points you have seen in Vedanta Sara. Lot of Tatpada Vichara was there. How the elements came about. Then the Abheda was pointed out between Vyashti and Samashti, along with conditioning. That was to show that this Jiva is not thinking himself to be different from God. So these topics we cannot skip if you want to study classical Vedanta. There is Shastriya Sangeet and folk music is there. Natya Sangeet is there, theatre, folk music, Loka Sangeet is there. If you want to study Shastriya Sangeet, you cannot circumvent studying all the notes of the ragas, understanding which raga is what. Just if you want to learn a song, we don't need the details of it. So Upanishad knowledge, Advaita Vedanta knowledge is like Shastriya Sangeet. Everything is included, in particular knowledge of Para. Para means Tatpada Vichara. Avara means Twampada Vichara. Avara means Twampada Vichara, knowledge of microcosm or this individual jiva. What all things are included there? Panchakosha Viveka, Avasthatraya Viveka, Drashta Drushya Viveka. All these terms you all are familiar with, right? Panchakosha Viveka means transcending the five koshas and reaching the self. But to transcend, we need to know what they are. So Tattva Bodha will elaborate it. Vedantas are elaborated. Avasthatraya Viveka, Jiva goes through only three avasthas. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Now that is not Tatpada Vichara, that is Twampada Vichara. But culmination is, I am that self in which avasthas come and go. Jagrat avastha comes and goes, I am the witness of it. Swapna avastha comes and goes, I am the witness of it. Sushupti comes and goes, I am the witness of those avasthas, unaffected by avasthas. We play that Nirvana Shatakam, right? What is the word that comes? Avastha Traya Sakshasmi. I am not part of avastha, but I am sakshi of avastha. This knowledge is called as knowledge of avara, means knowledge of microcosm. Angirase Paravaram. He taught this knowledge to Angirasa, who is now going to teach Mundakopanishad. The teacher of Mundakopanishad is Angira Rishi. The last name which was there, he is going to be the teacher. He meets a student whose name is Shaunaka. Shaunako have Mahashala Angirasam Vidivat Upasanna Papracha. The adjective given for Shaunaka is he was a Mahashala. He had several schools, different things he was running. Means he was a very well accomplished person. Somebody who has seen life sufficiently. There was a question in our Kathopanishad class. We were discussing about Shreya and Preya. And we said, according to the Bhashya, Shreya is abidance in the self. Whatever leads us to self-abidance, that is Shreya. And Preya is whatever is leading to conducive situations. That is called as Preya. The highest conducive situation is Swarga. So wherever in Shastra, in Bhagavad Gita, Swarga is described, which path it will be, Shreya or Preya? Path of Preya, because it is most conducive situation. So somebody asked, we are doing so many things in our own life, in our own journey, and we think it is good enough. We are living a disciplined life, value-based life. Why does a person need to come to Shreya? I was also thinking about it, different ways of looking at it. One is, if somebody sincerely does path of Preya, walks on the path of Dharma, and gets whatever they have to get, Bhagwan's grace descends upon that person. If he says, I am devotee of the Lord, Bhagwan doesn't like his devotee to be ignorant. So he will make sure that from Preya, he is led to Shreya. That is his responsibility, not the Jiva's. What is Jiva's responsibility? Whenever he gives the right insight, whenever he gives the right teaching, to start thinking in that direction. So if he is teaching us Bhajagovindam, Bhagwan brought Bhajagovindam in our life, Our job is just to try to appreciate what he is teaching us. We should not say, Bhajagovindam, I will not study, but I will wait for Bhagwan to give me more insight in this path. He says that text coming in our life is also his grace. And if we really feel that this is how I should think, from prayer I have to go to Shreya, that is Bhagwan's grace in plenty. The point here is, Mahashala word represents he has lived his prayer part very well. Mahashala here means he has done whatever has to be done and done it excellently. But in a way that he is led to this question of Mundakopanishad. Angirasam, his teacher, he has approached. Vidivat upasanna. Vidivat means, Shankaracharya said, in the past it's possible there was no such rule, no such niyama how to approach a teacher. So Shaunaka Maharshi as though started that tradition. Or this is being said so that whoever is coming now, later, they can learn what is the vidhi. Both reasons are there, past also and present also. Vidivat upasanna means that going with lot of humility, not going with this idea that I have accomplished so much. That is the main quality over here, going with the spirit of learning. Papracha means he went there and asked a question. He didn't just sit there or, do other things or ask about some other topic. You come so far and finally ask about weather. How is the weather? There it is too hot, here it is too cold. This is nothing like that. Direct question he asks about Brahma Vidya. What is his question? Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti. What is that knowing which all these things become known? Kasminnu bhagava. Bhagava here is used in Sambodhana. Here Bhagavan is the word, but here it is used as Bhagavaha. Bhagavan, please tell me what is that? Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte, knowing which sarvamidam, all these things become known. Now, all these things is not only referring to mountains and rivers around. He says, whatever pursuits I've had in life, is there something knowing which I will find fulfillment in all those pursuits? I did so many things with this hope of being happy. But is there something knowing which I will get permanent happiness? This world is known as existent, Sat Swarupa. It is also known as Chit Swarupa. Chit Swarupa means we know that thoughts are sentient. Thoughts reflect sentiency. Body also, body by itself is inert, but is able to express sentiency. This harmonium cannot walk, but body can walk. So Chit Swarupa we can recognize. And Ananda, we get glimpse of it now and then. Glimpse of Ananda we get now and then. So Shaunaka Maharshi is as though asking, is there one Ananda, knowing which all Ananda will be included in it? He's saying, is there one Ananda, knowing which I will not have to seek for bits and pieces of Ananda in my life? All of that will become known to me. If I know the sun, all the reflections are known to me. I don't have to separately know each reflection. It is the same sun getting reflected in every reflection. That is his question. The answer will be in a very special way. But here we just saw one more point. How did Shaunak Maharshi get this question in the first place? That part is also elaborated in Bhashya. The first reason why a person can get such a question is his heart has been cleansed of all raga dveshas. His heart has become so pure. That is one insignia of pure heart. If there is no raga dvesha, no impurity in the heart, limitations of the world become more blaring. Limitations of the world become more visible to us. That is one sign of purity of mind. If raga dvesha is there, in spite of seeing limitation, that limitation looks manageable. Towards anything we have attachment, we will never see limitation in that thing. Limitation in the sense, Vedantic limitation, impermanence, making us totally dependent upon that thing. Those limitations will not be seen by us if there is raga. These qualities are very well demonstrated in other Puranas. The best example is Devahuti ji. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Kardama Rishi, when he asks, "What do you want?" she says, "I want to see the world." And he creates Kardama Vimana for her. Flying chariot, multi-story building inside, flying garden, everything was there. If you read description of Kardama Vimana, it's so fascinating. 5,000 years ago, to think about such a thing, that there is a chariot which is flying. Vimana, airplane which is flying, all of that is described. But finally, when she comes to Kapil Bhagwan, her son is Kapil Bhagwan. When he is born, he is Bhagwan's avatar. Her confession to Kapil Bhagwan is Nirvinnam Nitaram Human Asadindya Darshanat. Nirvinnam means, in Hindi there's a nice word, ऊब गया हूं or ऊब गई हूं. In English, how will you say ऊब गई हूं? Not only dejected, fed up is a little bit too extreme. That I'm tired of this. Tired of this. Nirvinnam, are you tired once in a while? She says, no. Nitaram, that at this point, whatever you give me, that is not going to make me happy. Asad Indriya Darshanat. These sense organs, by fulfilling them, by satisfying them, by all these things, object of this world, I have become tired. Another example is our Bhagwan Rama. When he saw the world with Vishwamitra Rishi, when he went and he came back, he just sat in a place. Not willing to move. He said, I will not move unless I get a solution to my question. And that is where the teaching of Yoga Vasishta begins. Many people might see the world, but not everybody sees limitations in the world, sorrow in the world. And not everybody feels there is a need to be free from this sorrow also. So Shaunaka Maharshi has not only seen the world, seen limitations in the world. Now he is asking a question which is very, very pertinent of how to be free from this sorrow. What is it knowing which everything will become known to me? So that is the first reason why a person can get this question. His heart is very pure. His Sharanagati in Bhagavan is very strong. You know, Bhakti and Vedanta, we have to study parallelly. If you study exclusively, that full import we will not get. If you study Bhakti without nature of truth, or you study nature of truth without Bhakti, you say they will not lead us to the right destination. So that is our Shaunak Maharshi who has accomplished the first one. Sharanagati is there, bhakti is there, that mind will get such a question. Second reason was he has done satsang before. He has heard Upanishads. This is not his first satsang, not first meeting with a Rishi Muni. He has sat in several satsangs before. And there they were discussing. There is one thing knowing which everything becomes known. It didn't appeal to him. What are they talking? But he had Shraddha, he had faith. Those samskaras stay with us. We should never discount the importance of the samskaras. Even for children, we say, right? We have to give them samskriti. Samskriti means what? They have to get the right impressions. But when that impression will fructify, it is not in our hands. Vedanta Shravanam we might have done for several years. But when that question will become our question, that is in Bhagwan's hand. But if you don't do that part of creating samskaras, suddenly we will not get this question. Even if we get it, it will not stay too long. Kabir Das has a nice doha where he says, Dheere dheere re mana, dheere sab kuch hoy. He says, oh mind, please tell yourself, everything happens at its own pace, very slowly. Mali siche 100 gada, ritu aaye phala hoy. The gardener puts seeds in 100 pots. But only when the right climate is there, the seeds will sprout into their fruit. Seed, you will get the fruit only when the right time has passed by, right climate is available for those seeds. This is like that, those are seeds of Brahma Vidya. Seeds of Advaita knowledge, little by little, lot of seeds we have carried from previous janmas, lot of previous janmas. In this janma, it happens to fructify in a particular way. So that is the second reason a person might get this question. He has done satsang and vaguely he has understood that there is something called as truth, knowing which everything becomes known. Now he is asking, I want specific knowledge. Don't tell me in brief. Don't give summary. Tell me in detail what is that truth, and I want to abide in that truth. That is the second reason. Third one, which we did not see in the last class, Shankaracharya says it's possible that Shaunaka Maharshi is a thinking person, logical person. He has understood the effect doesn't exist independent of the cause. Effect doesn't exist independent of the cause. If I understand the cause, the effects will be known to me. All effects will be known to me. And his interest is not in the effect, his interest is in the cause. He says Shaunaka Maharshi is Tattva Premi. Tattva means the essence he wants to understand, not the effects. He's not interested in name and form of ornaments. He wants to know gold. Between the thread and the cloth, there might be different types of cloths, different names and forms of cloths. He is not interested in the design and pattern of cloth. He is interested in knowing the essence of that cloth. That is our Shaunak Maharshi. That is why he is having this question of Mundakopanishad. In devotion, the devotee kept the name of that truth as Shiva. And he called that tattva as Saram. Saram means what is the essence? We chant in the Mangala, what is that? Lord Shiva's stuti. Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram, Samsara Saram, Bhujagendrahan. Samsara Saram is this. What is the essence of this samsara? What is the essence of this truth? knowing which whole samsara will become known to me. Knowing the cause, all effects will be known to me. That is a question of Shaunaka Maharshi. One Purva Paksha is there, but we will see as part of Bhashya only. But with this, I think all major points in Bhashya we have covered. Let us see the Bhashya of third mantra. Shaunakah Shunakasya apatyam Shaunakah Shunakasya apatyam Mahashalah Mahagruhasthah Angirasam Bharadwaja Shishyam Acharyam Vidivat Yatha Shastram Ityetate Upasannah Upagatah San Paprachha Prushtavan Shaunakah Shaunakangirasoho Sambandhat Arvak Vidivat Visheshanat Upasadana Videhe Purvesham Aniyamah iti gamyate Maryada Karanartham Madhyadipika Nyayartham Va Visheshanam Asmadadishu Api Upasadana Videhe Ishtatvat. Shaunakah means Shunakasya apatyam. The son of Shunaka is called as Shaunaka. Mahashala, who was he? He was a Mahagrahastha who has lived his Grahastha very well. Whatever he had to accomplish, he accomplished, holding on to dharma, holding on to bhakti. Angirasam, he has come to Angirasa, Bharadwaja Shishyam. Bharadwaja Shishyam. Who is this Bharadwaja? Satyavaha. Satyavaha's disciple was Angira Rishi. So he has come to this Angira Rishi. Acharyam Vidivat Yatha Shastram iti etat. He has come in a way that is enjoined in Shastras. Means he has come with humility, does his namaskara, brought some faggot sticks for his guru as a token of promise that whatever you want, I will do. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to learn this Brahma Vidya. That is his promise to the teacher. In that way, he has come to his teacher. Upasannaha, Upagatah san papracha. Coming near to his teacher, he is now asking, or he asked a question. Papracha means Prushtavan. He asked a question. All of you are with me, right? Looking at the Bhashya. Shaunaka Angirasoho Sambandhat. This sambandha between Shaunaka and Angirasa, the meeting of Shaunaka and Angirasa, Arvak Vidivat Visheshanat Upasadana Videhe. This Upasadana Vidhi, which was there, this Visheshanam is used. Vidivat is used to indicate the Upasadana Vidhi. But it is possible that previously, Purvesham Aniyamaha iti gamyate. Before Shaunaka Maharshi, there was no niyama of how to approach a teacher. So this word Vidivat is used so that we come to know that Shaunak Maharshi was one person who went to his teacher Vidivat and he has to started this tradition of how to approach a teacher. Vidivat. Then Bhagwan is not very happy with this translation. He is not happy with this interpretation. He says, Maryada Karanartham va. Maryada Karanartham means whatever was there in the past, that was there. But now, whoever is approaching a teacher, what should be their Maryada? What should be their tradition to show that this word has come Vidivat? See, in the first mantra, Brahmaji gave teaching to Atharva. But it is not said Atharva went to Brahmaji Vidhivat. Brahmaji learnt it from Bhagwan Narayana, but it is not said he went Vidhivat. This tradition of going to teacher Vidhivat started from Shaunaka Maharshi. This is Maryada Karanartham, Madhya Deepika Nyayartham va Visheshanam. Madhya Deepika means to illuminate or illumine both the previous tradition and the present tradition. That is why this word has come, Vidhivat. What is the present tradition that we want to illumine? Asmadadishu api upasadana videhe ishtatvat. Means if we are supposed to go to a teacher, how we should go? To show that vidhi, this word has come, vidhivat. Means go with humility, go with this understanding that I am here to learn. Keeping aside all titles, keeping aside all our other identities, with the only identity of being a mumukshu. He said one should go to learn Brahma Vidya. Kim iti aha kasminnu bhagavo vijñate nu iti vitarke bhagavah he bhagavan sarvam yadidam vidneyam vidnyatam visheshena jnatam avagatam bhavati iti ekasmin jnate sarvavid bhavatiti shishtapravadam shrutavan Shaunakah tadvishesham vijñatu kamah san kasmin niti vitarkayan papracha kim iti aha. He has come to the teacher and he asked a question. Papracha was said, right? Now what did he ask? Kim iti aha. What question did he ask? Kasminnu bhagavaha vijñate. He said, what is that knowing which? That nu shabda which is there, kasmin nu. So nu shabda has come in the context of questioning. Nu iti vitarke. Vitarke means to question. What is that? In that way, that word nu has come. Nu iti vitarke bhagavaha. It should be hey Bhagavan, but here he has said bhagavaha. Sarvam yadidam vidneyam. What is that knowing which all of this becomes known? Sarvam idam yad vidneyam. Whatever can be known, everything becomes known. Vijñatam visheshena jnatam. Avagatam bhavati iti. Visheshena jnatam here means I will come to know the essence of that thing. Visheshena here doesn't mean I will know the specifics of that thing. Mark that point here. We never see any Brahmajnani who knows Brahma Vidya becoming Sarvavid literally. Sarvavid person doesn't become literally, means he will not suddenly get knowledge of music, knowledge of dance, knowledge of architecture. He will get the knowledge of that essence, that truth in which all knowledge is rooted. Knowledge of that non-dual truth. Other than that, nothing exists. In this way, he will get knowledge. And whatever is appearing, it's an appearance in the same consciousness. In that way, he will become Sarvavid. That's why the gold example is very precise here. If somebody knows gold, they will not know name and form of all ornaments. But somebody says, there is a nice name and form which has come, nice ornament which has come. He will not get carried away by it because he knows end of the day it is gold. What is needed here? He needs vairagya from Namarupa. So in place of gold, you put self. In place of gold, you put Atma. That Atma is ever available to me. Gold might not be always available to me. Atma is not different from me. It is me myself. Knowing that Atma Tattva, whatever names and forms might be there, whatever incompleteness might be there, due to unattainment of names and forms, they will go away with this knowledge. This point is looks very simple, but it takes a long time to appreciate. What is Vedanta going to give me? We never started this journey to know everything. Whatever little we are knowing, that alone is good enough. And Vedanta says, knowing one, everything will become known. Means that Chaitanya will be understood as the substratum in which this whole movie is appearing. So if you know the screen, whatever is superimposed on that screen, everything is known. विशेषेण ज्ञातम अवगतम भवति इति एकस्मिन् ज्ञाते सर्वविद भवति इति. Knowing one, everything becomes known. Now, how did he come to understand this, or how did he get this question in the first place? The first point, what we had seen, what did we see? Purity of mind. That point is not explicitly mentioned here. Where did we get that point from? Kenopanishad Sambandha Bhashya. There Shankaracharya said, the question of Kenopanishad. What is question of Kenopanishad? Kene shitam patati preshitam manah. Means what is that by which, prompted by which, mind goes towards its sense objects, mind thinks thoughts, and sense organs go towards sense objects. Shankaracharya gave long description to say who will get such a question. And there he said, person who has done his nitya karma well, naimittika karma well, and upasana well. Daily duties, obligatory duties, naimittika karma, and devotion to God. That person will get question of Upanishad. So here the second one is started. Athava Shishta Pravadan Shrutavan. He sat in the company of noble people, Santa Mahatmas, and he has heard whatever they were discussing. Shaunakah tad vishesham vijñātu kāmah san kasminiti vitarkayan papracha. He has gotten samanya jnanam, means he got bits and pieces of knowledge when he heard from all those Mahatmas. Now he wants specific knowledge. Now he is very interested in getting clear knowledge. That is why he is asking this question. Athava loka samanya drishtya jnatva papracha. Did we read this part or no? We read this part, right? Let us read. Athava loka samanya drishtya jnatva eva papracha santi loke suvarnadi shakala bhedaha suvarnatvadi ekatva vijñānena vijñāyamānāha laukikaihi tatha kimnu asti sarvasya jagadbhedasya ekam karanam yad ekasmin vijñāte sarvam vijñātam bhavatiti. He says, or it's possible that he was a very thinking individual. Loka samanya drishtya. Loka samanya drishtya means if you take the previous two were not the main reasons, there could be another reason, third reason. That is, he was just a very contemplative and a reflective person. Loka samanya drishtya jnatva eva prapracha. What did he think about? He said, effect can never exist independent of the cause. Effect doesn't have its own satta, its own independent existence than its material cause. If I know the cause, whatever effects are there, I don't have to separately know them individually. That is his understanding. If I know clay, pot cannot exist independent of clay. Another plate, jar, whatever you make from that clay, that name and form cannot exist independent of clay, which is the material cause. Like that, this universe is an effect. He says it cannot exist independent of its cause, which is something. He just made this analysis, he made this logic in his mind, Anumana he did. That is why he's asking this question. One example is given, Santi loke suvarnadi shakala bhedaha suvarnatvadi ekatva vijnanena vijnayamanaha laukikaihi. Suvarna shakaladi bhedaha. If you have gold ornaments, different ornaments of gold, if you know one cause, which is gold, all ornaments become known to us. Ekatva vijnanena vijnayamanaha laukikaihi. I don't have to separately know every ornament. Just with this logic between cause and effect, he came up with this question. But his question is very precise. Tatha kinnu asti sarvasya jagad bhedasya ekam karanam. Just like different ornaments had gold as its cause, he is very clear that this universe of names and forms must have only one cause. Ekam karanam is an important word. He is not saying there are 2-3 karanams. There could be 2-3 karanams. He says there should be only one cause. What is that cause? Knowing which all effects will become known to me. Yad ekasmin vijnate sarvam vijnatam bhavati iti. Knowing one, everything becomes known. Now there is one Purva Paksha. He says, I'm not happy with the way question is asked. What was the question? O teacher, kasminnu bhago vijnate. Knowing what, everything becomes known. This Purva Paksha says, does Shaunaka already have conviction that there is such a thing? Otherwise, the question should have been, is there such a thing, knowing which everything becomes known? Rather than saying, what is that knowing which everything becomes known? We should have asked, is there such a thing first? Then the teacher would have said, yes. Then if he is interested, he should have asked, what is that thing? So here it presupposes that Shaunaka Maharshi already knows that such a thing exists. And is only asking more details about that thing. Bhagwan gives an example. He says, if somebody tells in the kitchen, go and keep this rice in the pot. Go and keep this rice in the pot. Now, if you don't know where is the kitchen and whether or not there is a pot, what will be your first question? Is there a pot inside? Then you go inside and you see 3 pots. Then next question will be, in which pot should I keep? Or let us say the question, the instruction was, go and keep this rice inside. Pot word was not used. Go and keep this rice inside. Now, if the students, the one who is standing in front, he says, okay, which pot should I keep it in? What does that presuppose? He knows that there is a pot inside. If he has already asked which pot I should keep in, that means he knows there is pot inside. If he didn't know it, what would he ask? Is there something to keep this rice inside? He said that should be the first question. Then your next question would be where to keep it. Like that, he says, if he's already asking about what is that knowing which everything becomes known, how come he's asking that question? First, he should have asked, is there such a thing? Then the second question would be valid. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, no. Whatever he has asked is valid. because he is not interested in using too many words. He wants to ask his question in brief. If he has said, knowing what everything becomes known, he knows that his teacher will answer the previous question also. And at the same time, he has done so much of Shravanam, he knows there is such a thing. This is a Shraddha, faith that such a thing is there. Now he is asking specific knowledge of that thing. That is the Purva Paksha here. If you directly read Bhashya, sometimes you get lost in the idea. The main point we should get first. Sanskritam part, even if you didn't get anything, don't worry. The English part is the same summary of whatever we are seeing in Bhashya. Nanu avidite hi kasmin niti prashnah anupapannah kim asti tad iti tada prashnah yuktah siddhehi astitve kasmin niti syat yatha kasmin nidheyam iti na aksharabahulyat आयासभिरुत्वात् प्रश्नः संभवति एव कस्मिन् विज्ञाते सर्ववित् स्यादिति. Now this Purva Paksha has a problem. He says, Nanu aviditehi kasminniti prashnah anupapannah. If he doesn't have clarity about existence of such a thing, asking question about whether knowing that thing, what is it knowing which everything becomes known, such a question is not appropriate. First, he should get conviction about whether such a thing is there or not. If he doesn't have that conviction yet, why ask the second question first? Instead, the Purva Paksha is saying, what question he should have asked is, Kim asti tat? Is there something like this? This should have been his question. Tada prashnah yuktah. If he had asked this question before, then the question, Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti, then the question would be yukta, appropriate, but not directly. Siddhehi astitve kasmin niti syat. Only when you know something exists, then you can say, what is the nature of that thing? You can ask more about that thing, but first you should establish such a thing exists. Yatha, just like kasmin nidheyam iti. Bhagwan's sentences are very terse. Kasmin nidheyam iti, just like where you should keep. Nidheyam means where to keep. Only that much he says and moves on. Then you have to add the story behind it. There were 3 pots in the kitchen. Somebody said, take this rice, keep it in the kitchen. Now if he asks, in which pot should I keep? Kasmin nidheyam iti. Then it means he knows there are pots inside. Astitva is siddha for him. He knows it exists, then only he can ask more about that thing. Like that, if somebody is asking more about the truth, he says it is possible only if his astitva is siddha. Astitva means existence of that truth is known to him. He doesn't have doubt whether it is there or not. Then he can ask the further question. Now Bhagwan answers, na. Okay, this is one thing to note. Until the point na comes, it is Purva Paksha speaking. In general, don't make it as a rule of thumb. Because sometimes when we read Purva Paksha, we think it is Siddhanti speaking. And then again, we have to go back and change our understanding. Who is saying what? In particular, in Bhagavad Gita, when there are long commentaries written, in Gita Press book, sometimes the Purva Paksha comes in Siddhanti's place. And other way also. When Siddhanti is speaking, you feel it is Purva Paksha speaking. Or Purva Paksha is speaking, you feel it is Siddhanti speaking. So you have to be very careful. Now, Bhagwan is answering him. He says, no, Akshara Bahulyat, Ayasa Bhirutvat. He says Shaunak Maharshi wants to ask very precise questions. It is one sign of something which is very, very well thought of. Whatever we can think well, whatever we have thought of well, we can express in a very terse format. So he has thought about his question and he doesn't want to use too many words. Ayasa bhirutvat. First, he will ask one question. Is there such a thing? Teacher will say yes. Again, he has to say, okay, tell me more about that thing. He says no. Prashnaha sambhavati iti eva kasminu vijnate sarvavit syat iti. Means in the question that he has asked, the previous question, whether such a thing is there or not, is already covered. He doesn't have to ask separately. Okay. There are some questions here, I think, which I'll take before going to the next mantra. When that truth cannot be described, what will that question fructify as? Stay tuned. Whole Mundakopanishad is going to show us how this question fructifies. Even the way in which he is answering, it's a sight to watch. He doesn't directly answer the question. He lays everything on the table and he says, what you asked is not this. Paravidya and aparavidya. First, he will talk about aparavidya and say whatever you ask, knowing which everything becomes known. If you study only aparavidya, you will not get answer to your question. Study paravidya, which is the teaching of Mundakopanishad. Is knowing that there is something else, one truth behind everything, enough. Enough for what? Enough for moksha? Yes and no. As far as knowledge is concerned, this is all we need. When we say Advaitam, Advaita means non-duality. The meaning of Advaitam is, other than this truth, there is nothing else which exists. This samsara which I am getting scorched by, this mind which I am getting so bothered by, Advaita Vedanta should lead us to a point to say, other than this Chaitanya, there is nothing which is independently existing. This much is enough. Whenever you get any doubts regarding this, right, seeking Advaitam, take support of Saddarshanam and see what solution Raman Maharshiji gave us. He said, doesn't matter what is the concern. Knowing that self alone is a solution. Hold on to it. He says everything will fall in place. What is the no part? No part is our sadhana chatushtaya also has to be increased. Sadhana chatushtaya should be well ripened, by which we can digest this kind of teaching. So is knowing that one truth alone enough? Yes, that will solve all our problems. Is knowing that truth alone sufficient? No. We have to develop that inner strength and maturity to digest that truth. So in that way, both ways we have to look at it. All questions that you all are asking is going to come in the next mantra. Why is it important to know the answer to Purva Pakshi? Why is it important to know the answer to Purva Pakshi's question? Right? Why is it said Purva Pakshi's answer? Purva Pakshi's question. As a student, why is this important? Bhagavan Shankaracharya answers in the next bhashya, next mantra bhashya. He says, unless we know what is Purva Paksha, we will never know whether we are falling under Purva Paksha or Siddhanti. So unless we know what is prayer, we will not know what is Shreya. Prayer might be Purva Pakshi. But when I study what is prayer, I might realize, oh, I am following the path of prayer. Same thing will happen here. Paravidya and Aparavidya. We might say Aparavidya belongs to Purva Paksha. And the student asks this question, why should I learn about Aparavidya first? Because Mundakopanishad will start elaborating what is Aparavidya. He says, no, only when you understand what is Aparavidya, we will know what we have to transcend. What will not give us this truth, that we will know only when we understand what is Aparavidya. Like that Purva Paksha also. See, in Adhyas Bhashya, Bhagavan Shankaracharya doesn't start elaborating the nature of truth right away. First, he explains what is Adhyasa. Adhyasa according to different people, different school of thoughts. Then he refutes each one and he says, our Advaita Vedanta Matam is this. This is the traditional way of answering things. First, they will present Purva Paksha, then refute it, then come to Siddhanta. In tradition, before they would study Advaita Vedanta, they would study all other school of thoughts. This I had heard from Maharaji. He said, when we studied in Gurukula, we were taught Sankhya. And when we studied Sankhya, Advaita Vedanta was our Purva Paksha. So we were taught in such a way that we have to refute Advaita Vedanta. Then we studied Purva Mimamsa. You see, in Purva Mimamsa, all other school of thought were our Purva Paksha. Then finally came Advaita Vedanta. If you have clarity about everything else, then you know what you are refuting. But we don't have to go in that much detail. Imagine how much time we'll go in studying. Our own Prakarana Granthas is a lot for us, Advaita Vedanta. If you have to study all Prakarana Granthas of every school of thought, it will take forever. So that is why Bhashya is helpful. Shankaracharya will bring whatever is relevant. Wherever Sankhya Purva Paksha is there, we just have to see that part. If you study, no, first I will study Sankhya, then I will study how to refute it, it will not. It will be more cumbersome that way. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.